want to take one moment to recognize what makes this community so special. And that's you. All of you. Like that. Well, each of us came here tonight with something in our hearts. Something that's weighing upon us that made us come here. And we care enough, all of us, to show up. And in this day and age right now, we need to show up and speak up. We can't be silent anymore. Okay, I think I got my cards all mixed up, so just bear with me. We requested a meeting with Congressman Daniel Webster. And we did it several times. Dan had called him, I had called. I even went there and tried to get a meeting. They asked me what it was about. And, I said Eileen and I would like to talk with him. Various things, and it just didn't work out at all. Has anyone here tried to ever get a meeting with Daniel Webster?
Yeah.
Yes, raise your hand. Now.
Not just raise hand, raise green card.
Not yet. Okay, get used to it. Raise your green card. Okay.
Wait.
Now, those of you that tried, raise your green card again if you were successful. Where's the green cards? Well, we got somebody who was successful. Okay. Can you please tell us what happened?
It wasn't a meeting. I called him and left messages, and I left my phone number, because they asked me for my phone number and my address. And he sent me a letter saying that, I was complaining about Social Security and DOJ and Medicare and Medicaid, and he said that if I was having problems, I explained in the letter that the Social Security thing had gone down, Medicaid, the websites had gone down, and the websites for Medicaid had gone down in all of the states. And he said in the letter, if you're having problems, let me know, and maybe I can help you. And he said that he was all for Social Security and Medicare, but he left out Medicaid. He purposely left out Medicaid. And 2 out of every 3 people in nursing homes are on Medicaid because of how expensive the nursing homes are. So I never wrote him back because I'm 56. My husband is 64. He wants to retire next year, but he's afraid to. My husband kept the letter. I was going to just recycle it because to me it was just, I don't know. It was just
That's probably what you should have done.
lukewarm. And he's not standing up to Trump, so Medicaid is, I don't know how he voted on Medicaid. I'm pretty sure all the Republicans voted against it.
Okay, I want you also to think of what concerns you have and questions, because in a little while we're all going to line up and everybody will get 3 minutes to express their concerns and questions, okay? Okay. Now, I guess all the rest of you who asked for a meeting didn't get one, huh? Did they ask what party you belong to?
No.
No? Okay, just curious. Well,
Getting to that.
we're getting to that, okay? That's coming up next soon here. We're all here because we wanted a two-way communication with our elected representative, Daniel Webster. With our, as you all can see, he is not here. We visited him and invited him several times. It took weeks for us to get a reply. And his communications director finally replied at the very last minute, and it was too late to cancel this event. I didn't want to cancel it anyway because I wanted it to be a community event either way. And here is what his reply was. Congressman will not be attending this event as he will not use taxpayer-funded resources to participate in an event organized by a progressive political organization. Now, here's my response to the man. We will not be using taxpayer funds. The Residents' Town Hall is being brought together with community funds. It is a nonpartisan event. There will be constituents from both parties, and also NPAs, no party affiliate. I'm the leader of Lake County Indivisibles, and I am an NPA. Each local indivisible group is different. We will remain nonpartisan as long as I am the leader. We want to reach across the aisle and find some common ground in our very divided community. We feel that Congressman Webster can help with that. That was just kissing his butt. I mean, I really don't believe it. But I tried to get him to reconsider. Okay, Congressman Webster's constituents, of which I am one, want to ask questions of him regarding the direction of the government as he sees it. Please reconsider. We got that, crickets. Now here is a quote. I did an interview with Lake and Sumter Style magazine the other day. And they quoted a lot of his people, Congressman Webster's people, and people on the side of which I'm not. So here is what, again, his office said. The congressman is committed to engaging with constituents in a variety of formats, and most recently, holding a tele-town hall with over 20,000 participants. Were you invited? Raise the green card. Oh! Green card. Any green card? One green card in the whole? One green card. Okay. I want to get to you in a minute. Can you tell me, did you go to the town, did you get on the call?
No, I was not notified of it until about a half an hour before it started.
That's what I heard from just about everybody. Now, Kat, I heard you have something to say about this.
So I called Representative Webster's DC office this morning, and I spoke to a very nice gentleman. He was very polite. And I said, oh, I understand that Representative Webster had a telephone conference hall, town hall, and when was that? And he said, well, I'm not sure. It was sometime last month, but really I'm not sure exactly when it was. So I said, well, why didn't I know anything about that? And he said, you have to be on a list. So I said, oh, how does one get on your list? He said, you have to give me your name and your zip code and your phone number. So I gave him all of that information. I said, now, this is a house phone, so how are you going to contact me? I can't get texts on that. He said, no, we'll call you when we're going to have the next one. And when I said, you know, there is one town hall that's meeting in Clermont this evening, and is Representative Webster coming to that? And he said, oh, I don't know anything about that. And so that was the end.
Thank you very much, Kat. I also called Daniel Webster's office in DC this morning. And I proceeded to tell him that I was the one that was putting it on. And that I am the progressive, no good constituent of Daniel Webster, that he doesn't deign to even tell me when he's having a tele-town hall with 20,000 of his favorite yes sir, yes sirs. Well, he proceeded to tell me that we don't have your phone number. How could we let you know? I said, I get the newsletter constantly about all this wonderful stuff he does and how he's, kissing a certain man's tush in the White House on a daily basis, and that he approves of everything that man is doing. So anyway, that was that. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that anymore.
Nobody does. There you go.
Okay. Here's my, what I came to the conclusion. Whether you are a Congressman Webster supporter or detractor, whether you voted for him or against him, whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, or an NPA, it is the job of our member of Congress to respond and communicate with all of his constituents, not just Republicans.
Ready for the next one?
Well, okay. First I'm going to say, he's going to project many of the issues facing us today. And this is to help kickstart your mind, your thought process in formulating your concerns and questions that you will ask tonight. We are recording this Residents' Town Hall this evening. A link to this recording will be made available to Congressman Webster. And we're going to request him to supply us with the answers to the questions posed by all of you. And here's how the evening is going to go. Those of you who want to express your concern followed by a question, please start lining up here in the middle here. But you need this.
Well, listening. I'll get up in a minute.
Okay, she doesn't want to get up yet. Okay. So, what you want to do is you want to direct all your questions to our stand-in congressman. Eileen will hand you the microphone. You will have a timed 3 minutes. The timer is up there. And what you need to do is start by stating your first name and your zip code, and also please state whether you are a paid participant or an unpaid participant. Just so he knows that George Soros hasn't visited us here in Clermont.
I wish you would have.
Green card on that one.
Okay. Now, as you all walked in, you were handed a green and pink card. You know that by now. Okay. After each speaker hands Eileen back the microphone, you will raise the green card if you agreed with that speaker, or you will raise the pink card if you disagree with that speaker. And what we ask of you is, if you feel like clapping, clap. Clap loudly, clap happily, clap, clap, clap. But please, no interruptions, no disturbances, and no rude behavior, please. And I see that this crowd, there's not a rude soul in it here from what I see. So I don't think we're going to have any problems at all. So let's begin. Stand up, Eileen. It's your thing. Sorry.
You're doing great.
Okay. My name is Darlene. I'm in 34711 zip code, and I am not paid to be here. But if you want to let me something. I am a registered Republican. Wait for it. Unfortunately, we no longer have a Republican Party. Nothing that this administration is doing has anything to do with the beliefs and honoring the Republican Party. What we have is the Trumplican Party.
Oh, good.
And I will never, ever, never have been, never will be a Trumplican. Okay, the Trump administration. That said, my question, sir, is where's the line? Is there a line that the Trump administration can cross that would get the Trumplicans in Congress to start standing up for democracy and the Constitution and the people of the United States of America? Or will you continue to allow the destruction of our society and turning this country into an oligarchy or a dictatorship?
You are a popular lady, all green.
I can't do any better than that. My name is Gary Saz. I live in 34761. I'm a registered Republican, although I haven't voted Republican in quite a while. And I know why I'm a Republican, but I don't have a party. So my question is this. In District 11, you have 8% more registered Republicans than you do Democrats. So that's a lot of people not being represented. But the largest amount of party registrations, I believe, and I'm very close even if I'm wrong, are people who registered in Florida as NPA or independent.
Correct.
Okay? But the independents have no one to vote for.
Right.
So the rule of thumb is we split our vote and the Republican wins because it goes back to that 8%.
Right.
So what I'd like to ask you, Congressman Webster, is if all the Democrats were going to vote Democrat, and all the independents actually had someone to vote for, which would be a more conservative-leaning Democrat, that's more of a centrist rather than a progressive, that would be 70% of the district. Now, if that independent ran in the primary, they could knock you out of a Republican primary. Because it's 50+1 to get into the general election, right? Yep. So it would then be the independent running against the Democrat, and then I don't care who wins. So, Congressman Webster, when 70% of the district lines up against you, what are you going to do? Having voted for Trump 100% of the time. Whoop. Pink card.
Another popular one.
Okay, this is my first time doing something like this, so if things go
Talking to the mic.
so things go a little bit wayside, my apologies. I will try to stay on track as much as possible. I am, what am I supposed to answer again? My affiliation? Oh, name and zip code. Okay, Joel Saz, that's my name, zip code 34761, and I believe you also need me to know my party affiliation.
No, are you paid or not
If you're paid,
If you're paid or not paid, we pay.
Oh, heavens no, not paid. All right, anything else you know before I start?
No, start.
Okay, so my question is regarding Dodge. Now, if you ask me if I disagree with government efficiency, the answer is no. If you ask me at the cost of American taxpayers, programs that we all benefit from, the answer is absolutely not. I can see that there's a lot of people who are elders here who are probably dependent on a number of government programs, such as Social Security. I myself have ADHD and Asperger's. I live off of partially Social Security too. Services to Social Security and other programs are being cut. I'm sure I'm not the only one who feels that the reason for this is to give tax breaks to billionaires. And a lot of people here do not support that, to put it kindly. So my question to you, Daniel Webster, is at what point will you support no longer cuts to what's the right term, entitlement programs? And to
Please don't use that word. It's not entitlement, we earned that, we paid it out of our
Let me reword
hard-earned money for years upon years upon years. That's all, just use a different terminology.
We know what he means.
I don't know, but we're
Let me
not going to use that word in this hall.
Let me re-ask the question, Daniel Webster. At which point will you help us to defend the programs that we've helped pay into?
Our money. Exactly.
Yeah. All right.
Very true. You got all three, you did well.
Good evening. My name is Rod. My zip code is 34715, and I have not been paid to speak tonight. I follow a very different approach in terms of expecting that he would be here, and unfortunately he isn't. And the questions, and I have several of them, I phrase them in a way that it is a yes or no answer. I have been a lifelong independent. My wife and I are from huge families. We had 8 brothers and sisters, and both parties have been represented over the years, and it has created, especially in the last 10 years, a lot of stress in our families trying to have conversations. We have to avoid politics at all costs because the heated discussions that we have had have been very uncomfortable. So I'd like to start asking my questions, and keep in mind, I phrase these in the form of a yes or no. I don't consider myself a Republican. I don't consider myself a Democrat. I consider myself an American. Here is my first question to our rooster friend, our chicken friend, whatever you want to call him. Number 1, are you okay with the Trump administration saying that Ukraine invaded Russia?
No!
Wait, should we vote on each one of these? Is that okay?
Yeah, no,
All right,
no.
there we go.
Okay. Number 2,
Here we go. Let's see this one first. Ukraine. Some no's, some yeses, some question marks. Can you repeat the question?
I think you want to disagree.
Do you agree that it was Ukraine that started the war and not Russia? No! Oh, Pink, way to go!
Okay. Listen closely. Here's the second question. Are you okay with Elon Musk referring to Social Security as a Ponzi scheme?
I thought you were...
My third question. Are you okay with Commerce Secretary Harold Lutnick saying, quote, if Social Security checks don't arrive, people aren't going to be upset?
We don't have a billionaire son.
Question number 4. Are you okay when you hear Trump say he is a champion of free speech, especially after he calls veterans suckers, losers, and fools, mocks Biden as being incompetent, calls Harris a moron, belittles reporters as enemies of the state, yet immediately demands CBS, CNN, MSNBC, Jimmy Kimmel, Jon Stewart, and Stephen Colbert, and any other TV channels or stand-up comedians who dare to ridicule you be fined, imprisoned, or in some way silenced for their right to free speech.
Not anymore, America!
I'll move to the back of the mic, but I have a few more. Okay. I'll do just one more.
Okay, you can do one more. You got it.
Okay, and then I'll come back.
Okay.
Because I have lots of approval, and here's the last one. Are you okay with Trump criticizing the Biden administration for the tragic and embarrassing withdrawal in the Afghan crisis when you yourself, Trump, actually made a deal with the Taliban and pulled American soldiers out of the country, creating the chaos that followed into what Biden inherited?
And excluding the Taliban government.
Exactly, Cynthia, exactly.
Arnold said, awful fast.
Okay, you want to play a game of Marco Polo? Woo! Marco. Polo. Marco. Polo. Okay, so Congressman, where are you?
Yep.
Because I have a question. You work for us, not the other way around. That is what you get elected to do. So, Congressman Webster, I have a couple questions for you. I know you're not, worried about Social Security because you don't pay in to Social Security. Neither does any member of Congress pay in to Social Security. So why do they care about Social Security at this point? That is a point. Why do they care about Medicare? They're not paying in to Medicare. They don't care about us. They don't care about the future of this country. And you know what? Keep the rich richer. You're right. I heard that. Keep that up. And you know what? Cut the arts. Cut, everybody who is looking at, these younger people who are wanting to make a difference in this world. We're looking at gun violence. Step it up. This is not a partisan issue. This is an issue that all of us should care about, whether you're Democrat, Republican, or Independent. This is going into churches. It's going into schools, and this is disgusting. We are at this point. But if we are silent and we're quiet, nothing will get done by this. So that's why we have to rise up, right? And on a final note, I just want to say, I hope none of you have Tesla trucks in here. Because all of them got recalled. 46,000 of them got recalled yesterday. You know what? The big man is looking up above, I gotta tell you. So Congressman, come here. Meet with us. Talk to the people who you represent. What is wrong with having that conversation? Because you work for all of us.
Hello, my name is Joseph Feliciano. My zip code is 34744. And I'm not, oh, and no, I was not paid to come here. I'm not one for public speaking, but I was hoping to ask this question to you personally, Congressman, but I think as that mass proves, you were too chicken to come here. With Trump openly disobeying the Supreme Court and all the other things he's disobeyed when the courts ordered, and how he's betrayed the Constitution over and over, and disobeying the Supreme Court, he's refusing to bring back an innocent man who he sent to El Salvador. An innocent man who he sent to El Salvador to a concentration camp. And let's be fair, all the other immigrants that he sent there, chances are they were all innocent and did not deserve to be sent there. My question for you, Congressman, is when are you and the other Republicans, the so-called party of law and order, going to take the steps necessary to start impeachment of Trump?
So my name is Christian. I'm from, my zip code is 34744. And I was not paid to come here. I did not realize that the congressman was not here when I first walked in because I couldn't see the difference between the chicken and him. My question is, I believe full-heartedly that we're going to win. The Trump regime is going to lose. So what are you going to do, Congressman? What are you going to do, Congressman? You and the Republican Party are going to do once the regime falls. How are we going to build our relationships with the rest of the world back up?
He doesn't give a shit.
You got green. Might as well throw away those daggone pink cards, huh?
Well, it depends. People are phrasing their questions differently.
Good evening. My name is Jeffrey from 34736. I am a proud independent, and I have not been paid to be here this evening. And for the record, I am a proud public school teacher.
Thank you.
I'm going to reiterate some of the statements that have already been made. The United States of America is in a constitutional crisis right now. The Trump administration has defied federal court orders along with the Supreme Court, which has a strong conservative majority. The president and maybe the congressman has forgotten that the United States has 3 branches of government. And I would like to remind you, Congressman Webster, it is your job to hold this administration accountable. The Congress has the power to investigate. And in my view, high crimes and misdemeanors are being, brought forth every day. And as the past gentleman said, it is time, it's past time to investigate and to hold impeachment proceedings. Can you imagine if President Biden or Obama did half of what Trump did? So it is my question to you, Congressman Webster, when is enough enough, and when are you going to stand up for the American people and let us remind you that you took an oath not to work for Trump, but to withhold, stand up for our Constitution. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Julia. My zip code is 34714, and I am not being paid, nor is the rest of my family being paid to be here this evening. I did bring my son because I find this is an important thing for him to attend. And with that in mind, I would like to ask Webster here, or Chicken Webster, about the Department of Education and how it is being destroyed because of Doge and of Linda McMahon, who knows nothing about education. A wrestler and an owner of wrestling is not knowing anything about education at all. So as someone that has an elementary student, I am concerned about his future. So I ask you, what are you going to do to stop this destruction? Except I have his answer, because I wrote him and he actually responded. The short version, because I am timed, is I believe that issues in education are best dealt at the local level within our communities with unique and individual needs, allowing parents to have a greater say in the education our children are receiving. It is 100% a form letter, and it's a bunch of BS. And here's the other problem. He is also basically endorsing the voucher system. The voucher system does great if it actually works. It does not. It helps the more well-off, and people that are the average citizen do not, including taking money away from our public schools. Public education is important. It needs to continue to be important. We are almost the 50th state in education here. This is not helping. This is not helping as people that may be a little orange in color say to make America great again. So again, my question is, what are you going to do to fix this? This is not going to help my child or anyone else's future.
Hello, my name is Daniela, and my zip code is 34715, and I am absolutely not paid to be here, but I would absolutely accept anybody who wants to donate to me, I would take it. I'd just like to start off by saying that I'm an immigrant. I've been here in this country for 40 years. I became a citizen in 2008, one of the happiest days of my life. And it makes me very sad to see the news, because I truly believe, and this is true for myself, that immigrants are probably the most patriotic people in this country. And I love this country so much. I came from a country where the government is corrupt, and to see what's happening to this country now makes me very sad. So my specific questions, I would like to hopefully get an answer, which I think is a very easy answer. One is about due process. I was just wondering if Congressman Webster was in favor of due process, one of the basic rights in the Constitution, because it seems to me like this administration doesn't know what it is, doesn't support it, and clearly is not following it. So it scares me very, very much. As a person who is a citizen, but even the speaking of denaturalizing citizens, like all of that language, it just very much is scary. So I would like for you to support due process and protect it, because that is your job as a government servant for all of us. And then the second thing might be less popular, I don't know, but I feel like this is a, two sides, both Democrat and Republican. I would like to get some support in maybe taking money out of elections, and if you'd be willing willing to support a bill that would take money out and have a public funded election system in this country. So the reason we all had to say that we didn't get paid, because clearly both sides think this is happening. So if we just take all of that billionaire money out, perhaps we could get back to a good and honest and working democracy. So thank you for being, sorry. You were not here, so I hope you're at least watching this. So that's my two questions.
Hold on, can I ask you what country you did come from?
I came from Brazil.
Oh.
Yeah. And just to support my fellow teachers, I've been a public educator for 20 years in this country.
We could vote for the taking money out of elections, because we just want to, it's separate.
And overturning Citizens United.
Thank you.
I had mentioned earlier, my wife and I were both teachers. I taught for 33 years, my wife taught for 30 years. We had a couple of kids, and she took maternity leaves. My heart goes out to teachers today. It was difficult enough when I was teaching and my wife was teaching back 20 years ago. It's just gotten so much worse with all the censorship, everything that's going on. We were in Branson last week and saw a lot of shows. And the performers at the end of many of the productions asked all the veterans to stand up to recognize that. That was great. We applauded. But I think at times teachers really are short-suited and are really put in situations where they need to be recognized for the jobs that they do, the fact that they also put their lives on the line. We all know the teachers who have been shot, that had to experience the trauma dealing with kids in their classrooms that are scared. Everything that is going on is such a tumult today that it is horrible, a horrible experience for anyone who goes into teaching, and my heart goes out to you. Now I'd like to continue on with my questions.
I already got your slide. Multiple questions by a teacher.
Okay. The next question. Are you okay with Trump blaming Biden's DEI legislation for the tragedy in the Potomac when the air collision occurred? Trump said that at that time, Biden had allowed misfits, psychos, and other mentally challenged individuals into air traffic control positions. And when he was asked if he was going to feel any kind of obligation to visit the crash site, in fact, he told reporters, "What do you want me to do? Go swimming?" You don't have to put cards up. These are all things that we're all experiencing. I'm just putting a specific reference on them. Number 7, are you okay with Trump saying that he inherited an economic mess when Biden left office? No! In fact, Wall Street, The Economist, and most financial experts stated at the time, at the end of 2024, the U.S. economy was the envy of the world. Question number 8.
Wait, before we go to that, can we vote for that one? So, which one? Can you restate the question as like agree or disagree? Can you say one more time?
Well, I said, are you okay with that? Okay, so I think you're going to disagree.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
I think in most instances you're going to show red cards. Okay? These are the last 2. Are you okay when Trump continues to claim government fraud, waste, and corruption when he flies off to New Orleans for the Super Bowl, which cost us more than $20 million? He drives up from Mar-a-Lago, $5 million, to attend the Daytona 500, has golfed nearly every weekend since he returned to office, and who knows how much money that cost.
$26 million.
Each time.
He knows.
And is now planning a $92 million parade in Washington for his June 14th birthday.
That's his birthday.
I know I'm out of time, but I have one question. Are you okay with the CDC professionals who have lost their jobs because of the cuts to our health service, including last Friday's firing of Dr. Peter Stein, who probably saved Trump's life when he was whisked away to Walter Reed and needed immediate treatment? He saved the guy's life, and now he's been fired. Do you agree? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You covered a lot of great ground. Thank you. You were perfect. Unlike his calls to Ukraine.
Hello, I'm Laurie Royals. I've been a social worker for 30 years. I have a lot of background. He couldn't be here tonight because he's treating the most severely mentally ill patients in the state of Florida by going to their homes. Guess who pays for that, Daniel? If he loses his job, I'm coming for you, baby. Here's the deal. I am a registered Democrat. I am woke as hell, and I'm mad. And I'm not shy about it. Donald, and I will forever call him Donald with a small d, is a malignant narcissist psychopath. That is who you are enabling. You are enabling him. I can diagnose him easy. It's easy. We can look it up in the DSM. Find it. Have some courage. For God's sake, you guys are so weak, it disgusts me. So, good luck, buddy. Good luck.
There we go.
Andrea, and I am actually from zip code 32726, which is not in this particular district. In fact, I am in the district where we just had a special election. And we managed to swing from red to blue by 16 points, not enough.
Which election was it?
Josh Wheel.
Josh?
Unfortunately, not allowed to elect Josh Wheel, so now we are stuck with Randy Fine.
I got my own card.
So, prior to tonight, I have never before attended a town hall or anything like this. Prior to maybe a week after the inauguration, I might have made a total of 5 phone calls to elected representatives in my entire lifetime. I started going to protest rallies a couple of months ago, and the sign that I hold says, "It's so dire that the introverts are here." Because I am a huge introvert, and so being here is not easy. I'm here, I'm standing up tonight, and I'm speaking to you because we are in a constitutional crisis, and because I am truly frightened about the direction of our country. And so I know I'm supposed to ask questions, but I just want to give a very brief list of some of the things that are just really hurting my heart and scaring me to death right now. One of the first things that I remember after the inauguration was finding out the huge cuts that were made to the National Park Service. And that one really grabs me because I come from the mountains, and I love the mountains, and I love the parks, and I can't believe that they are just decimating our beautiful park service. And it just goes on from there, all the cuts to research funding, the cuts to HHS, the cuts to NIH, now the freezing of the FEMA funds, the SAVE Act, which is just absolutely horrific. The cuts to the National Endowment for Humanities, and the museums and the libraries, and the Social Security tampering that's going on, and the weaponizing of our government against our trans community. And lastly, I guess to dovetail with a specific question that I can ask is just the on-again, off-again tariffs, and the fact that President Trump has made this country into not only the laughingstock. You know, the first time around, I think that he made us into the laughingstock of the entire world, and now we are the object of its hatred. And I'm just appalled by what has happened because of Trump. So here is my specific question. Mr. Webster, are you going to support an investigation into stock trading practices in the hours and days surrounding the tariffs on again and off again? That's what I want to know.
Marjorie Taylor Greene made it big, baby. Insider trading.
Let's see the
Out
cards.
in the open.
Yeah, should we see the cards on that question?
Insider trading.
So, insider trading, who wants to say
Have that
yes, we'd like to
investigated.
investigate?
Thank you, Andrea.
Hi, my name is Debbie Cedars. My zip code is 34711.
Did you get paid to do that?
I did not get paid to be here. I wish. I wish it was something. Daniel, you wrote me a letter. When I called and I left messages, you wrote me a letter. But in the letter, you said that you were all for Social Security, that you would defend Social Security. So why have you and other Republicans not stood up to Trump and asked him and demanded
and pass legislation, whatever you need to do to secure Social Security so that Doge can't disseminate it, just like they're trying to break it so then they can try to privatize it. Now how many people want it privatized? So you privatize the schools, and I have a grandchild who is autistic, and he needs special help, and not all of the private schools can give him that, and not everybody can afford a private school. So my issues are on Social Security and why you're not standing up to Trump, and why you can't be here.
Yeah, where are you?
We need you at our protest.
Hi, my name is Hannah McMahon. I am from 32757, so Mount Dora, a little bit over there. In my free time, I work as a volunteer teacher of English to Ukrainians. And so all of my students are currently in Ukraine throughout the country. And so my question is, how do I begin to explain to my students why my country turned its back on them?
Yes.
I want to add one thing. That little country is the beacon of democracy for the world. We are no longer it, they are. And if it weren't for them, who would be our heroes today?
Can we card Ukraine? Just make sure we're good. But
Anybody who wants us to back Ukraine, raise your...
Ukraine flag. That's even better. That's impressive. All right.
Before you talk, I just want to make one little statement since we're on Ukraine. We have 2 visitors here from Ukraine. She has a 501c. It's called Ukrainian Spirit. She goes back and forth, and she goes into the combat zones. This little woman here spends months over there and then comes back here. Now you can go. I had to do this.
My name is Shelley, and my zip code is 34715, and I'm not paid to be here. As a public school teacher in the district you represent, I'm barely paid for anything. It's the truth, okay? I have many concerns, but I'm going to focus on one that affects our children and the future of our country. I'm concerned with the dismantling of the Department of Education. States already have control of the curriculum and the standards that are taught, but how can we assure the students will still receive the rights as written in their IEPs and 504s? How can you guarantee that the state of Florida will fund all the needs of all of our students? The state of Florida barely funds education and educators now. Do you really expect them to allocate more funding if the Department of Education disappears? I have one question for you. What are you doing to protect our students?
You got the green cards. Oh, green cards.
Hey, I'm Lenora Forrest. I'm from 34711. And I have a whole list of things that I've called about and repeatedly emailed you about. I've gotten form letters back, if anything. I have 2 things that I want to talk about tonight. One is Social Security, and the other is the SAVE Act. Social Security is an earned benefit. I've paid for it since I was 15. I am 67, and I'm still paying for it. I resent Elon Musk, saying it's a Ponzi scheme or an entitlement program. And Donald Trump, during his, before he was elected, he repeatedly said he wasn't going to bother with Social Security, and yet here it is. The SAVE Act, I see the SAVE Act as a sneaky way to get around the 19th Amendment. It's a poll tax on women and transgender people. Problem with illegals voting, and there's already laws in place to keep illegals from voting. So I have something to say to Donald Trump, to Elon Musk, and to you. Shame on all of you for what you do. To be brave and stand up for what is right and vote against all of these inhumane bills that are just coming up constantly and keep the U.S. a democracy. And we're all counting on you.
These are some of the issues that are bothering me. My name is Kim. I'm from 34787, and I'm not paid to be here. In fact, nobody has to pay me to be here because I hate Donald Trump so much. I just retired, and I am terrified about what's going to happen to my retirement Social Security that I've been paying into since I was 14 years old. And Medicare and all the other things, but one of the really things that I'm not used to talking in front of people.
You're doing great.
Is that there's so many things that I'm concerned about, and one of the main things I'm concerned about is the lawlessness of this Trump regime. That nobody's investigating. Trump ignoring the judge orders, and which is basically, null and voiding our Constitution. Because what are they going to do when he says no? Who's gonna do anything? He is over the DOJ, and I mean, what are they going to do? There's just and even if they were to give him fines. It's all our taxpayer money that would pay those fines. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's time for you to do your job. It's time for you and all the other congresspeople to do your job. You need to impeach Donald Trump and all the other people that are in the government that are taking bribes. Marjorie Taylor Greene that's doing stuff with the stocks, insider trading. I just want to know, Daniel Webster, what side of history are you going to be on? Are you going to be on the side of ruining our democracy, or are you going to stand up? Yeah.
My name is Cherie Kennel from zip code 34715. You may know me. I email you 2 or 3 times a week. I too have gotten some form letters back, but to pony on to what the other nice lady just said, that is my big question. When are you going to do your job? To break it down to something that middle schoolers would understand, there is something, and I want to know if you still believe in it. It's called the separation of powers. We're in middle school, but it's a pretty basic concept, and you have 3 main duties: power of the purse, power of oversight, and power to levy tariffs and taxes. You're doing 0 of those. Every single one of those you've given over to one man. And do the math for me, Daniel. That's called a dictatorship. Oversight, and I'm just going to briefly go into it with those. How in the God's name is a South African billionaire allowed to go into all these agencies, all these departments that Congress approved and gave money to, and ruin, just annihilate most of them, take the funding, half the funding away from the others, and you say nothing. Nothing at to the news yesterday, but the National Labor Regulation Board, I think it's called, the whistleblower. Do you understand what's happening? There's a ton of data disappearing from these agencies. We don't know where it's going, but there's a Russian address that's coming in and mysteriously, 15 minutes later, trying to take data. There's no oversight. You're doing absolutely nothing. You don't even understand what DOGE is doing. That is your job. And then to levy taxes, please. There's no emergency going on that allows one man to levy taxes and tariffs. And look at what he's doing. He's going to ruin not just our economy, the world economy. So I don't know what we're paying you for, but it does not say in the Constitution that you are a yes man for the person in power. Do your job, keep the 3 branches of government going. The judicial branch can't do everything, and we can't do everything. Do your branch, do your job.
Hi, my name is Shannon, and I am from a zip code 34711, and I was not paid to be here. I am the proud mom and bonus mom of 4 fantastic little girls. I understand that you were the co-sponsor of the SAVE Act, which is an act that I personally believe makes voting more difficult for most human beings, particularly for women and married women and married people. Under the SAVE Act, people who have changed their name, like married people, taking on their partner's last name, will need to show not only their birth certificate, but also their marriage license to show that their name on their ID matches that they are a citizen, even though we all have real IDs, and we've already done that before.
Right on.
We've already done that. Let's not get into it that I had a divorce and married somebody else and then changed their name again. Here in Clermont, 39% are seniors, more than half being women. I have no idea where my marriage certificate is. I can't imagine that after moving, retiring, that paperwork showing up. Mr. Webster, I want to know what you're going to be doing to help your constituents, especially your seniors who have changed names, to be able to easily vote in the midterms next year, because it is their constitutional right.
I'm Sterling Fry. I've lived here in Clermont for 58 years. My zip is 34711, and I was not paid to be here tonight. I'm going to show my age a little bit on what I'm going to say here, because I'm going to talk about a former catastrophe this world has seen. In World War II, we had a psychopath and a bunch of henchmen completely destroy the world order. 407,000 Americans died, 671,000 were injured, and numerous went through all kinds of injuries and so forth. And so here we have this guy that plunged the world into that situation. And now we have a sociopath who is trying to do the same thing. We're talking about one man and a group of people, and these are the MAGA Republicans who are aiding and abetting this guy to do the same kind of damage that was done 70 years ago or more. So my question is, do you want to be like a Martin Bormann or a Goebbels, or are you going to stand up to this guy? What do you want your legacy to be in the future? Yes. I think you guys better put a stop to this.
I'm from 34744. I believe it was Cory Booker. He said that we would need 3 House representatives that are Republican and 4 Senate Republicans to win back the majority. My question, only one question for you. Are you going to continue to be a chicken, or are you going to join the Democrats to fight against the Trump administration?
I think you get to write that one. She was very quick. But can we show the cards for that one, just in case?
Sure.
Yes. All right, good. Too quick.
Hello, Mr. Webster. My name is Chandra at zip code 32162, and I am not paid to be here. You heard from me before, and I'm just going to wonder, as I see the bond market crashing and I see the damage to the U.S. economy, I see us making enemies out of friends. And I wonder, you are claiming that you are the party of financial and fiscal responsibility. What happens when everybody loses faith in the faith of the U.S. government, people stop buying our debt, then what? What are you going to do about it? You have the power to stop these tariffs and to stop this destruction right now. So I will second what everybody else has been saying here. Please do your job. Thank you.
Hello, Daniel. I'm Nancy Allison, 34711. I used to be a Republican long ago. I have written you and Marco Rubio many times, only receive a form letter back, no phone calls, no nothing. I'm really mad, very mad. I've worked in early childhood for many years. As far as public education, children, they're our future. We teach them to use their cognitive ability to make informed decisions. We teach them to tell the truth. We teach them to be kind. Where are you guys on that? Looks like we're missing a few things here. Putting immigrants, I'm mad by everything up there. Everything up there bothers me, but I'm going to pick due process. It's scaring me to death that the gentleman in El Salvador had no due process. And it sounds like Trump doesn't care about due process. And he even said he's going to take homegrown. Next, he's going to build some prisons to take homegrown. I'm a homegrown girl. I grew up in Florida. I'm not going to stop protesting. I'll be out on the street for the things I believe in. You'll have to come and get me. I'm very upset. And I need you to stop ignoring due process. You're taking away our rights. Do your job. Stop lying. Stop living in fear. I feel like I'm in Handmaid's Tale.
Hi, I'm Dan Wilmuth, 34711, and I definitely didn't get paid to be here. It wasn't even donuts or not even a brownie. I guess my biggest concern right now is the Lion King, and that's L-Y-I-N. I really have no idea why the newscasters seem like they're so surprised all the time. Project 2025. We all got copies. We all read it. Yeah, right? And we were all warned our neighbors, this is what's going to happen. And now that's his playbook. Have you read it? There's one thing I would like to warn you about, Daniel, and that's if Congress doesn't act to stop the Lion King, and the Supreme Court doesn't stop the Lion King, you want to parade down Pennsylvania Avenue? Really? You want to see tanks on Pennsylvania Avenue? You better find a safe room. Because I don't know what's going to happen, but he's got to be stopped. If you don't do it, the Supreme Court doesn't. You know what happens in European countries when people hit the streets? It ain't good. So do your job.
Before you speak, this lady right here will have to be the final question because it ends at 8:30. Now we're going to mingle a little after 8:30 until about 9 or so if you want to around here, but we got to start breaking it down, okay? So anyway, go ahead.
I'm not very good at this, but we'll try it. My name's Ernie. I'm from 34748 in Leesburg. What? Closer? Okay, I'm Ernie from 34748 in Leesburg. No, I haven't been paid. I'll be happy if I get my Social Security check. But there he is, Dan the man. I'm from rural, well, I've been down here for 47 years, but I'm from rural Illinois. And there's an old saying, you're like nipples on a boar hog. You're useless, worthless, and hopeless. And we get nothing out of you. But be that as it may,
You said, do I just put up hog nipples or what?
you sure did. You put up hog nipples. Which is very politically correct because you don't want to put tits.
Before you go on, vote on this. Hot nipple or what?
So just to leave you with, before I ask the question, just to leave you with a thought that the gentleman over there and one in the back happened to bring up. There's an old saying about if you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it.
Yes.
Well, Trump has brought the nation and fractured it. That's part of the playbook. Please, if you know nothing about Nazi Germany, where my grandfather was from, learn from it. Hitler did exactly what Trump is doing. He strips the courts, destroys the educational system, you can only think one way, goes after the attorneys. Then there's nothing left. And one strength that Trump has, as Americans, we, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And we have a tendency, I think, as a nation, to where we don't really bind together. You go your way, I'll go my way. But he has struck a chord in us which he forgot.
Yeah.
We're all immigrants, and when we're threatened, that's when we bind together.
Yeah.
And Trump, his cabinet, most of the Republicans, you're there too, we're now threatened. As a people from many backgrounds, we are now threatened. So we'll bind together, but will it be enough, or will it be too late? That's the whole point.
We're not going to let it happen. No. The people here, there are people like this everywhere now. We're going to rise and we're going to stop it. Go ahead.
Well, you hear a lot about constitutional crisis, and yes, we are definitely in one. Because when this will be the trigger, he's skirting around whether or not to listen to the Supreme Court. When he turns his back, thumbs his nose, and says, I will do what I want, we have lost our democracy. It's over except for the fight. And who knows how that may turn out. But my question to the Chicken Man would be, what are you, and I won't say all of the Republican Party, but most of the Republican Party, what are you so scared of? Why are you the way you are and not protecting the American people? What does this would-be wannabe dictator have on all you Republicans? There must be some skeletons in the closet that you Republicans don't want to come. You don't want to come forward. You don't want anybody to know that. So it comes down to, if you're afraid of your job, you forget we put you there. If you think you're going to, and this is for not only you, but the rest of some of the Republicans in Congress, if you think you're going to keep your job because of Trump, do a wake-up call. He'll sooner cut your throat if he can get more power out of it than to protect your job.
That's right.
You need to understand your power does not come from a single individual who sits in the Oval Office. Your power comes from us.
The people!
And if provoked, and you have provoked us, the people will get together. Independents, Republicans, Democrats, party officials, what you have done, Trump has done, and most of the Republican Congress has done, you have kicked a hornet's nest that will have no bearing on party affiliation. And so, your job will probably not be there because we're the ones that put you there. He can't protect you. That's all I got.
All right.
He wants to do away with elections. I believe he's telling the Republican Congress and Senate that you can keep your jobs in perpetuity. Perpetuity, forever. Because we will no longer have elections under him. That's what he wants. So I think that's what he's doing. That's just my opinion.
But they should know better than anybody. He's the Lion King.
You're right, he's a liar, but they buy it.
Hey, Daniel, I forgot a couple things when I was last here. So, one, my zip code is 34705. I am in your district. I'm near Astatula. I have a really nice little 4-acre plot that I will go back to tonight and enjoy. And I would not take a cent for coming here. I have too much integrity, unlike your party. Elon can pay them $1 million. You know what I would do with that $1 million if he tried to pay me? It would go up his ass. So, and stop gaslighting us, for God's sakes. Get therapy. That's a trauma response. We deserve better than you.
ANF 34711 was not paid to be here. I come from a third generation of military veterans, specifically the Coast Guard. My issues lately, the Coast Guard specifically has been diverted to do illegal immigration operations, and our funds for defending the country, which I volunteered to defend, is being abused. My question is, when the National Guard gets called up, what other abuses is the state going to use their National Guard for? And what are your intentions with my children when nobody wants to volunteer for the military anymore? My children are 18 years old. What's going to happen with the draft when they get called to the military to do things that are unconstitutional and put them at arm's risk?
Last person. My name is Regina, and I'm at 34748, and I'm new to this area. I am actually one of the federal employees that have been impacted. But I want you to understand, I worked 25 years in Washington, D.C., and I had the opportunity to come here, to relocate, to spend my money, and prop up this economy. My husband and I moved here. The only way I could keep my job was if I went back to Washington, D.C. They forced me to retire, basically. I guess my point to him is that I'm a federal employee, you're a federal employee. I was actually forced to resign and retire because I wasn't willing to do my job, or that I was lazy, that I wasn't able to, go to the office. Well, I guess part of it too is you need to be here. You need to do your job. You get the same benefits I get. You get the same retirement benefits that I get. You need to be held to the same standard. So, as painful as it can be, you need to be here. You need to be here. The other thing too is when it comes to federal retirement, in this new budget, they actually want to change federal retirement provisions for retirees. And so I want to make sure that you understand that you'll also be impacted and that they should also apply to you if they apply to me. So that's my second point. And then the last point is, I work policy for health, safety, and security. And while I'll be fine, I worry about the public who are going to be impacted because of DOG. They are going through and demolishing policy with a wrecking ball. Eventually, it's going to impact citizens. They haven't felt it yet, but it is, and that's what terrifies me the most, is that they're doing it recklessly, And so all I ask is, I have no problems. I think most people, we are all agree that there needs to be some right size of government, right? There needs to be some efficiencies found, but do it right, do it slow. Don't do it like you're doing it now with the wrecking ball, because it's going to impact a lot of people. So, back to you.
Hey, people. What are we doing now, Dan?
We are wrapping it up. Oh, of course the mic runs off. In a minute.
Keep your eye on the screen. Things will happen soon here. Allegedly. No signal.
This is the weirdest.
Okay, I'm going to talk about something.
You talk about it.
I'm the leader of Lake County Indivisibles. Like I said, it's a nonpartisan group. If you have seen people in front of Tesla, that's us! If you've seen people at 50 in Hancock, that's us! And if you've seen people on April 5th in that long line of 600 people, it was put on by a party. I'm not going to mention any parties because that's not what we're doing, but it was put on by a party. They got 600 people. I'm an NPA, I was there. You guys need to help us grow our protests. Now, on April, wait, one second. On April 19th, in the same place, between 8th Street and West, on 50, they're going to hold another one. Now, we want to see all your faces there, if it's possible.
Annie Groveland.
Annie Groveland, but actually, it's a lot of places.
We're going to do it in Groveland.
I'll tell you what, here's what you do. Here's what you do. I want you to join on Facebook. I want you to join Lake County Indivisibles, and we will post all the locations of April 19th. We will post all the events that we have, and any event that's close. Just let us know. You can You can message me once you join. You can message me and say, look, my zip code's this. What's the closest I can, closest protest to me? Get out there. You're mad, you're angry now. Use that, because that's the only thing that's going to save us in this country. Our anger and our sadness and fear, put it to good use.
And use phone calls.
We'll get there. We're actually going to talk about phone calls.
Yeah, that's
So
his next
this slide up here, by the way, is
Sorry.
a way that you can actually find us on Facebook. So you can either search our name, Leck County Indivisibles, or you can see in the QR code. So you just basically take a picture of it, and you pull the picture up, click on that little square, and it'll take you right to it as well. So what kind of question I want to ask first is this anyone's first town hall? Wow. Okay, I was going to ask more questions about something that did, but wow, all right. So that is a ton of first-time people. So what do you guys think about it? Good? Was it good? Was it bad? All right. So what we want to do is we kind of want to know how you think it actually went. So give us a green card if it's worth my time, and a pink card if it needs work, and we are more than willing to take feedback. So if it needs work, it's fine too. All right. So those people that have the pink, do you have any kind of suggestions for us?
I don't maybe getting the word out more so it's better attended. This is great.
Yeah.
It needs to be steady.
Yeah, I would agree. So she wants to know we can get the word out more to get it more attended, right? So this room only fits 350 people, and we're pretty good. So we missed that whole section over there, but I want to say like 200 maybe? I didn't count. Did you?
I didn't count, but let me tell you something, okay? I just started organizing in early February. I'm learning. This is a new game for me, and this is what happened, okay? This is pretty good. Now, you wait. Next time, yeah, we'll fill up some rooms. Let me tell you, we'll have rallies, we'll have marches through. We marched through downtown Clermont. We had a rally and a march. Since I have been the leader, we've had over 20 protests. Since February, come on, we're trying. We need your voices out there to tell people it can't just be me. It can't just be the select few of us that do it. We're on Blue Sky. We just got on Blue Sky. Now we have 1.6 thousand followers in less than a month. I mean, we're trying very hard, but we need your help. And if you want to help, get in touch with me, and I will gladly give you something to do.
Hi, thank you so much for holding this event tonight. I'm out in 34715. I found out about it because I was at the April 5th protest. I'm also very concerned about many of the things that you guys are concerned about here today. I'm a physician. 75% of NIOS just got cut a couple weeks ago, and it's threatening my job directly because I train other physicians in occupational environmental medicine. But that's besides the point. I just wanted to give you some feedback. When I posted about this event in my group, my neighborhood page, it was denied by our admin. Because yes, it was, and I pushed back on it, and I even modified my post because I didn't want it to seem extreme in any way. I am very much a moderate, even though I'm registered as a Democrat. I'm truly a no party affiliation because of views on different things. But anyway, so I would just encourage you to consider how some of the wording on the event flyers and information is framed, because it might be that some of us are trying to share this information with our neighbors and it gets denied. So
Can you be more specific on the wording?
I would love to know. Because I'm actually the one that made the poster, so we try to put bipartisan, we try to put party, no parties, only people.
Yeah, so that's a great question. I'm happy to show you the feedback that I got from the administrator of the group, and I pushed back on it, and then their response was like, well, this is going to be divisive, and I'm just like, well, do you not care about due process and people being detained by people who are not even properly in uniform?
Sounds like a MAGA person.
So
it's probably MAGA.
Yeah, I mean, but still, I think it would be helpful because I know that there are a lot more people who sharing in our views here, then there are people that are not. And so I would like to have more people here.
Yeah. Thank you for the feedback. I would love to see it.
I got rejected on many groups in Facebook also. They would not allow me to put that on. They said that all it's going to do is cause problems, and a lot of them in the group rules say no political anything.
Right.
So, I mean, don't feel so bad. I mean, you know.
I think anything political nowadays is going to be divisive, so that might be
Even though it said nonpartisan, it didn't matter. You know, it doesn't matter to people.
Let's call it a garage sale.
Come to the garage sale.
Everybody can bring little cards with their ideas on them, and we can buy them for a quarter. All right, one more quick question for you guys. Should we do another one of these in 2 months? Yeah, pretty good with that.
Are you going to help me get people in here? Yes.
We're also going to be working on trying to get an actual sitting representative, so if Webster doesn't want to show up, we're going to try to get someone else.
Maxwell Frost's people did say that he would come, to an event if we give him plenty of notice. And, what we would do, we would get him to decide on a date, and then we would do it on that date.
And also, Congressman Frost, he's in El Salvador right now.
Yeah.
And so that's the only reason why he wasn't here. He's a friend of mine. He wanted to be here, but he had more important things to do. But he will be here at 1. Okay. I'll promise you.
Well, his people actually did promise us, so.
His people wrote back. They were very nice.
We will do the date that he chooses, and that way he's guaranteed to be here.
You want to pack the house?
If you want to pack the house, get Rachel Maddow.
I have tried. I have invited her. We were on her show. One of our protests in front of Tesla was on her show, and she mentioned Clermont, Florida.
All right, so was the press invited to this event? They were.
We had
we have a couple members of the press.
He was here. We had one press member.
Yeah, we had one press member up at the front, so at least somebody showed up. Hopefully we'll get more the next time. So where do we go from here, I guess, is the next big question, right? And it's going to be mostly about the First Amendment, right? So the First Amendment kind of has a lot of different texts, and it's kind of a little bit old, but let's kind of break it on down. So the First Amendment basically gives us the power of speech, it gives us the freedom of religion, it gives us the freedom of press, and everything else that it already entitles, right? So our idea for this is that we're going to start using this more, right? So assembly, what we're doing tonight, we are exercising our First Amendment to peacefully protest and assemble and talk to our elected officials, right? Right.
Remember,
yeah.
The key thing is peaceful.
Peaceful.
Because what Trump is trying to do is invoke the Sedition Act of the 1700s.
Wait, this is important, so I'm going to give you the microphone for a second. Hold on.
Why? I just said it.
I know, but I make sure everybody can hear.
Oh, I said peaceful is the key word. Because Trump is just waiting for one of these things to get out of control. And he will invoke the Sedition Act of the 1700s, which means you'll be picked up and shipped off. I mean, if you're going to go back to your country of origin, I guess I have to go to Austria, where my grandfather's from. But, I mean, pick a country, you'll be gone.
Yep.
You got to be peaceful. If Nelson Mandela can do it peacefully, if Gandhi could change an entire continent peacefully, we have to do it peacefully.
I couldn't agree more. And Sin, at our protests, how many are peaceful? Have any not been peaceful?
100% are peaceful. At the last Tesla, we were joined by MAGA counter-protesters. There was a guy with a big motorcycle, and on his motorcycle he had that big old picture of Donald Trump. And then there was a guy up in the air on this great big tricycle thing. And he had a Trump picture here and a Trump picture there. And then I went over, I got there early, and I walked over to these people and I shook their hand and I said, "Hi, I'm Sin Doyle, I'm with Lake County Indivisibles, and we're protesting here today." And you're allowed to protest too. So how about you stay on your side, we'll stay on ours, and let's make it peaceful. And one of them said, you don't tell me what to do. And the guy on the big motorcycle, he was the boss, and he says, yes, you do what she says. So it worked out okay, but it turned out very funny, that after the protest, all of them went into Tesla. I wonder what they were doing. Getting paid, maybe?
I don't know. But I was actually at the Kissimmee Tesla takedown protest, and we had Byron Donald stop by. Do you guys know Byron Donald?
He's running for governor.
Byron.
I think, isn't it?
Yeah, pulled up in an iridescent Cybertruck with some right-wing YouTubers. I think it was Benny Black, I think is his channel, and one of the MAGA rapper people. So they got out of it and started anti-protesting our protest. So that was an interesting thing as well. So yeah, that's going to be the person that's going to run for our governor.
He's Trump's choice for governor.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so let's see what the next slide is, because I don't remember. All right, we're going to be using this here. Let's kind of skip to one. Let me get back to my computer for a second. All right.
Okay, I want to say something about the April 19th protest, because this lady, she just left, but she told me, she says, all they know is April 19th. They know where it is, but they don't know when it is. Well, it's at 10 to 11:30 in the morning. So it's not too hot, you know, it'll be just right, okay?
But bring water and sunscreen. All right, so the next one I want to talk about briefly is what's next for our questions, right? So we had our assistant writing down all of the questions that you guys asked for today. And our next step is to take them directly to Daniel Webster's office. So what we're going to do is April 22nd, and if you guys would like to join us at 1 p.m., we are going to his Clermont office. And we are scheduling an appointment, we are inviting the news, we are taking everybody's questions, and we are going to try to get everyone answers. So that is our next step.
And that's if we do not, we're giving him a link to this town hall so he can look at it if he wants and look at the questions, and we're going to request that he give us the answers to all the questions that you all have posed tonight. But if we haven't gotten them by April 22nd, that's when we do what Dan just said.
We're going to have to do it.
Well, it doesn't matter. You know, the man is never there.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been there so damn many times, it's like, okay, you're not there, you're not in Congress, but I see he's in pictures with all these people, you know, buddies, I guess they're rich, or I don't know what they are, but they're not us. Well, I did. I was dressed as a chicken. I actually wore that mask and my chicken thing, you know, doing all that, and at the last protest in front of his office. So,
All right, so we are going to be doing that. And I also wanted to talk about 5 calls, because we had somebody over here mention 5 calls before. How many people have heard of 5 calls? Everybody good? Yeah, okay, some people, not a lot. So what it is it's 5calls.org, and it is a website that can assist you guys if you would like to call your elected officials directly. So what it is it kind of is a script, and it tells you what to say. Because a lot of times when you get on the phone, you get kind of tongue-tied, and it's a little bit hard to figure it out, right? You don't want to come across as anything else. So what this actually does, and let me just go ahead and pull it over here, is this is the 5calls.org website. Now what you're going to do is in the left-hand side, right over here, there we go. We're just going to type in our zip code. So 32836 is going to be mine, and then that's Golden Oaks. So what you're going to do is you can pick any of the different issues on the left-hand side, right? So let's just choose one, and then it's going to be giving you guys a script, and then actually if you scroll on downwards, oh look, it gives me Daniel Webster's direct phone number and the script to read to him about that issue, right? So if you guys ever need help making these phone calls, 5calls.org is a fantastic website, totally free, and it is free. Do they have any questions about that, or has anybody used it before?
well, it's on your phone also. It's an app for your iPhone and Android, and it's on the computer also.
Go ahead. All right. Give me 1 second when we start my slides. Have you used 5calls, Sin?
Yes.
Do you like 5calls?
Yes. I don't use the scripts though because, you know, I got a big mouth, I got a mind of my own. I don't need anybody else's words. I got so many inside here that I can't get them all out as it is.
Okay, so I just realized one small issue for you guys. This slide that I showed you first, this is, we are going to be asking about his town hall. So we mentioned a little bit earlier, right, that he had a town hall where there was 20,000 of his constituents, but yet no one in this room knew about it except for one person who couldn't attend because she was told about it 30 minutes beforehand. So personally what I've been doing is I've been calling their Washington office and demanding a recording of that. Because if it's if it's a tele one where they did on Zoom or a phone call, there should be a digital copy for us to watch, right? So if I find that, I will be posting it on the Lake County Indivisibles. So far I've called every day since I found out about it, so 3 different days, and I'll continue to call until I get that for us, right? So if you guys want to, this is just kind of another link for that. Now, the thing I was saying about our questions, on the other hand, is this. This is our specific one. We have a lot of Mobilize. How many people have heard of Mobilize before?
I worked this site.
Good. Okay, that's great. It's a fantastic site for different groups to post their events, and you can sort by location. So it'll give you a map, and you can actually zoom right in so you can see what's happening around you. All right? So that's how we're going to be doing it, and this is the direct one for our taking over our different questions. All right. So we want to just kind of wrap things up today by just kind of remembering that things take time. Right? Which is painful because there's so much stuff going on every single day. They're flooding the zone, and every time you think you have a handle on something, a new issue pops up, right? So that is always the problem. But this is going to take time, no matter what we do, right? It is a matter of showing up again and again and again and being together, right? So if you want to go join us at a protest, come and join us at a protest. If you're comfortable coming to town halls, go to town halls. Reach out on the phone, email them, message them. They keep track of all of it. Right? So personally, I'm trying to get a FOIA request into Daniel Webster's office so I can try to figure out how many people are calling in about these issues, because they'll never tell us. But a FOIA request will force them to tell us, right? So that is my next step, and that's what I'm going to be doing and trying to help solve. Because once we get that data and information, we can then use that to force him to address these different issues.
If Doge hasn't fired, everybody at FOIA,
That should be easy, because I'll just go there and grab it myself.
There you go.
All right, so democracy is in a spectator sport, and just by showing it tonight, we've all taken the first steps. So first of all, give yourselves a round of applause. And the other thing I want to kind of get you guys to kind of think about is when you're talking to people that don't have our same views, right? It's a little bit painful, because you feel so strongly about something and they just don't. And they're going to be hard to do it. But just remember that there are two sides to every single issue. And try to think of them both, right? Let me give you a quick example that I heard about once, and I love this example. So talking about housing markets, all right? So if I make the statement, housing markets right now, everything is so expensive and I can't buy a house. How many people agree with that statement?
Yeah.
Couple people? Right. How about if I phrase it as, oh, I'm so excited because I own a home and my investment in my home is skyrocketing. How many people agree with that? A couple people, right? It's the same thing, because the housing issue is expensive. So whether you have a house, you're excited about it. And if you don't have a house, then it makes you mad, right? And who's correct? Both. Did you say that? All right, leave it to the kids, because that's great. And the answer is both, because both are an opinion. And it's hard to convince someone of a different opinion, right? So give them grace. I know it's hard to say, but try to put themselves in that kind of other flipped side of the coin and just think about it, and then it might help you actually convince them about it if you give them the same example, right? Because it's an opinion.
Kindness.
I would agree.
And it works. It really does work. If you push them, they'll just, their ears will just. But if you're nice and you just don't push too hard, you give them an inch. Just give them a little piece of what you're about. Don't throw up on them.
So I was at a protest and somebody came up in a Trump hat, right? And I was like, can I ask you questions? And he said, yes. And we had a 30-minute discussion, and it was actually fantastic. He had no idea about some of the issues, so I was giving him facts. And I was like, look this up when you get home, and you can look at this and this. And then I was asking about his issues, right? And so he was concerned about trans women in sports. because he has a daughter, right? So I started giving him the facts about trans people in sports. And he didn't know the facts. He heard it once and then said, oh, well, I'm scared for my daughter, and so I'm against it. And so when I explained it, he goes, oh, I didn't really think about that. And I'm like, okay, then think about it. You have a question?
I just wanted to say something that connects to what you're talking about.
Here's mine.
I've seen a lot of instances where people have said, well, they voted for Trump, and now they regret it.
Yep.
And I would caution people on their response to that, because if you say, well, deal with it, you did it, live with it, or you could say, you know.
That's the time to say,
insult them.
join us.
Yes. Anybody, we're going to need everybody's help.
I would agree.
So, thank you.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic point. So yeah, reach out. If people are questioning, answer their questions, right? And that's pretty much about it. All right? I personally just want to say thank you to Sin for letting me be a part of this.
Thank you.
See you at the next one.
Thank you.